Namaste, dear friend. Welcome to my channel. I'm Lisa Grail. This video will be the main guidance on my YouTube channel since now on, because without understanding of the whole spiritual journey of the stages from ignorance to enlightenment, we cannot understand where we are, at what stage, what experiences we may face, how we can avoid risks on the way. So please share this video with people who are also on the way to Kundalini awakening. And the first part of this video will be dedicated to 6 very conditional, my own created with my analytical mind, stages of awakening. And then I will in detail, very sincerely, share with you my stages, how my spiritual path was going through these 5 years of daily Kundalini yoga practices, and where I am now, and what in my feeling will happen next. So it will be exciting and very interesting video, which will clarify many questions you have, and write me on Instagram. Thank you for the interest. Unfortunately, I don't have time to reply right away. For this, I have consultations and other services, which you can find via tap link in description to this video. And to start with, I want you to understand that I am like you. I mean, I was living with background depression all my life. I didn't know even how bright and colorful the world around me is. I was suffering since I was born, I guess. It was my predisposition to depression, genetical, and also I know that there are more experiences beyond this material reality and life. So it was the consequences of my behavior in my past lives. Anyways, no one to blame. This is called karma, cause effect. And I'm very grateful for this journey, because I am where I am now, and I'm absolutely happy. All right, please call me your Kundalini yoga teacher or spiritual friend. I don't want to be called guru, because I think that Aquarius era, new epoch we are entering, is the era of awakening. So any person is a master of his reality. Rely on yourself. Don't shift responsibility to guru, because I can guide you. I can give you some life hacks and share my experience, but I will never do your work for yourself. So it's very important, because many people worship and create an idol. For instance, Sadhguru, he is a big master. No one denies this, but if you will focus attention on his power, you will lose your power. So the spiritual awakening in my vision right now has 2 major approaches. I will call it feminine type and masculine. I had more masculine type of awakening because I have strong analytical mind and logical mind. And my left hemisphere of brain is very cool to process information. So my search was through knowledge and experience, and once I had lucid dreaming experiences, I understood logically, first of all, that if I woke up in the space of the dream, lucid dream, and felt myself as if I am in some other material reality, because all senses, smells and tastes in lucid dream are the same as here. I logically understood even 10 years ago that I can awaken in this space, in this material reality. And it depends on where my point of assembly, my focus is located. And yes, my research was through suffering and logic. Very interesting journey. I will share in the second part of this video, so please watch till the end. And the second approach is the heart, intuitive approach, feminine type, which inherent to women mostly, because they expand their heart, they accept love, they accept everyone, they through serving people, nature, animals, and it's a very beautiful journey as well. You can share in comments after this video at which stage you are in your consideration and what spiritual approach is more close to your heart. It's very interesting. I will gladly invite you to conversation into Zoom for all subscribers. If you experience spiritual awakening, I'm inviting you to be my guest on the channel and share with guys your experience. The more experiences around are happening, the more confident we are on our path, because we understand that this is not dangerous. It happens as it happens, and there are risks, yes, but if we are centered, if we are focused, nothing bad can happen, believe me. It's very natural state of person, moreover, I will tell you. It's our basic settings, and in the childhood, we were enlightened, then we were programmed. I guess that most of my yogis are on the 4th stage. I will talk further about this, because 3D people won't be on my channel only for bad comments and talking about evil. Alright, the first stage I called sleeping stage or ignorance. What is ignorance? So the person was born and he has a vision that his personality born on some date exactly in the family, lives in society, all objective reality is stable and material. There is nothing above or below, there is only what we see. He or she doesn't perceive any subtle densities of the world and lives normal life. Normal life, I mean, he was born like everyone, visited school and then university and then marriage and then children. And you know, in such a race of life, you don't even have time, because you have to gain money to self-realize in society, and only some traumatic experiences can lead you to thinking what's next, what is above, what is the meaning of life. It's a very good life if it's stable, in comfort, if the psyche of person is healthy, he can live all life in this sleeping state, and maybe only when he's old, left alone on pension, he can kind of touch and starting to his search and starting to asking questions, what was the meaning of my life and so on, and he can face some kind of crisis. Also crisis usually happens at 40, when person understands that this race was so stressful, so overwhelming, and he wants to stop and begin his search. And sometimes a person is suffering and still in 3D, living only out of mind, thinking that he is only man or female with some social roles, daughter, father, mother. He will die, he was born, and he suffers so much. Sometimes he finishes life with subconscious creation of some accidents like car accidents, or even sometimes killing his body with a sick mind, suicide. Unfortunately, it happens. Person could not obtain something and just stuck in the mad mind, and it's very hard to bear and to go out and cut this vicious cycle. So this is 3D. A person is immature in psyche usually and thinks that someone can rule their reality, government, society, and he is not creating his reality. He cannot even analyze that he only has cause-effect with inertia in time, so he cannot combine some initial point when he or she made some thing, and then with the time it was reflected in reality. So I will be also pointing out benefits of such life, because you know, there is no good or bad experience. It's only very individual path of the soul, and this was the plan of incarnation, so it's not bad. And benefits that some people are sleeping sweetly. They are lucky, they are blessed with God, and they enjoy normal social life, family, and so on. They're blessed, so it's also very good life. It can be even long, because if there was not so much stress, then it can be very long. But minus is when something happens, person doesn't know what to do, and he cannot handle this reality. And I told you there might be risks to create subconsciously death, to attract death, to switch on the program of death in the form of cancer, any disease, or any event, to utilize the body out of this reality. I will be naming this process how I see it right now after spiritual awakening. So yeah, this was the first stage, and we are moving next to the second stage. I will call it the suffering stage. The most sweet and hard to bear stage, where we can stuck for whole life and never go anywhere. And here I say that it's very important to find specialists, psychologists, and start psychoanalysis. Psychologists tell that if person didn't pass through therapy, he is automatically neurotic. And I will agree with this, because who is neurotic? It's a person who reacts like a snail. Snail, this is the term from the book of Vadim Zelle and Tafti, the priestess. The snail reacts automatically. Trigger reaction with no idea, out of programs of the mind. I was telling a lot on my channel how we are programmed by society, how we are born pure, with pure perception, with connection to our teachers, ascended teachers, and teacher inside us, our intuition, and then we are led astray. Suffering stage is neurotic patterns in the brain, very rigid mental programs. Everyone has different traumas. Alice Bourbon has the book about psychological major traumas. I know all this information because I'm fond of psychology and psychoanalysis, and we don't have to ignore the labor of such major figures as Carl Jung, as Freud, and many other figures. If you go to therapy, good psychologist, he might be a normal person, 3D person. He even can be not awakened or enlightened, not necessarily, but he will put your psyche in balance, that you can cope with this reality and to live with yourself, with your persona. After good therapy, you can gain as a minimum high level of awareness and proactive psyche. I was talking about proactive psyche. This is the term of Viktor Frankl. And this is when you have not automatic reaction to triggers, to stimuli, but you have this gap between the incoming information and your reaction. And it's not emotional reaction out of aggression and like feeling of resentment and the patterns of victim or aggressor or savior and so on. But you have this awareness how to react. This is the high level of awareness, and this is the benefit of the stage of suffering, because you can get rid of suffering and live a normal, happy life. Even through all your life, you can keep your psyche in balance. If some crisis happens, you again go to psychologist, and he helps you, keep you going, to work through all your emotions when someone loses a relative, death happens. But you know, the minus here is that still we believe that we are personality, we're not going beyond the persona. That's why I do love psychology, but I think it's not applicable to awakened person, for those who experience something more, because psychologist has no idea what is this, and he can maximum direct you to a psychiatrist with a hint that you are schizophrenic or something. But I have my position on some mental disorders as well. And it's not only my position. I researched this topic with the help of Salamat Sarsikenov, who is a neurophysiologist and who helps even people with schizophrenia, because he is sure that schizophrenic person is only wrongly awakened person, because there are risks. That's why I'm sharing this video with you. You should understand that we have some protective mechanism of our psyche, and when the whole space unfolds and we realize that we were not who we was thinking we are, we can be very stressed and even go nuts, even if the psyche is fragile and not stable. The second stage, suffering, and through suffering we usually grow. And if not psychology, then person shifts to the third stage. These stages can be going one by one. One can appear before another. So this is only conditional systematization. I call this stage searching stage. The searching stage is very interesting when person feels that there is something more, and he's starting to search for information on internet or read some esoterical metaphysical books like reality transurfing, for instance. And he learns about the theory of conspiracy, reptiloids, Illuminatis, some magic spell, black magic, shamans, that someone can be coerced. And if the therapy with such persona was not fulfilled, and he is still in his immature psyche, because proactive psyche, this is adult state when we are responsible for our actions and our life, and we can be very prosperous, we can rule business. Proactive psyche, this is norma of healthy person who has some neurotic tendencies still, and at times even very adult persona who is not enlightened can face some troubles, and then he again needs to stabilize, to go to psychologist, and he uses psychologist like a crutches in some way because he's not connected to his inner teacher. After an ultimate self-realization, you have no questions. This is the main sign that you are awakened. But this searching stage is metaphysics, like, oh, I will visit psychic, or I make some healing or channeling. I admit that some people are really gifted with psychic abilities, even if they are not awakened. There are someone who can foresee the tendency which might happen, but I don't believe that you can predict your future, because we live in the quantum reality, and each second can be a quantum leap which will shift you to another higher or better. It's also very conditionally to another more happy script of your scenario. You can choose your reality. This is truth. Person with immature psyche at the stage of searching can be led astray and believe that I'm the victim of circumstances, I have no power over this reality, people are punishing me. Such people always complain that again someone is against them. They cannot go out and become real adult, responsible for their emotional reactions. And it's not their guilt, for sure. This is only how the psyche works. For some people, for instance, with organic injuries of the brain, such as drug addicts or alcoholics, for them to return back to referential state of the brain is very hard. His path might be longer, okay? But it's possible. I believe that even people with mental disorders can be healed through therapy and spiritual work, and they can achieve self-realization. So it's very interesting stage. I was at this stage as well. I will be sharing my experience later. But also, it's very funny. It's a benefit because this is search. You expand your vision. You are going out of the narrow thinking that, I'm man, woman, mother, father. You don't have only social roles, but you understand that there are reincarnations, some masters, gurus, retreats, and if you are lucky and you won't be led astray by them, I would say substances again. I filmed a video about the influence of psychotropic drugs on our brain and how we can stuck in these experiences, but actually they are not real experiences. They're all happening inside the mind. So be very careful. This is minus because we can be led astray. We can stuck in this position like, I see conspiracy. Everyone like chasing me. And you know, it's like even paranoidal state when you think that everything is against me. And of course, reality usually responds accordingly because we receive what we emit, what we believe in. And that's why it's risky. Some people really can create in the mind some low material world with evil, demons, possessions. Sorry, but it's not real. So if you think that you can be coerced, believe me, you cannot. If you don't allow, we have a will. Each person, human being, the highest creation, the Son of God, has a will to stand. If you believe and auto-hypnotize yourself that I'm coerced, I have a spell, this woman put a spell on me. If you believe in this, you will create, you will program yourself for this. So be careful. There are benefits because this search is super expanding our vision. You can learn many things, but most of them are just imagination of our mind. So please don't stuck at this stage. Move further to actual spiritual journey. The fourth stage I will call practicing stage. Practicing stage also I can call like self-investigation, or how it's called in Advaita Vedanta, Atma Vichara. Self-exploration, constant dialogue with yourself and with your false self, with personality. And seeing your mental programs on practice. Theory is very good, but we need to practice. And this stage includes many techniques: Kundalini yoga and other types of yoga, Kriya yoga, Hatha yoga, if it's not only for beautiful figure, but it's a real spiritual work. And at this stage, it's very hard because we have to work a lot. We have to face truth. We have to suffer out of realizing how we self-punished, how we have a lack of self-love. We need to forgive ourselves, and Kundalini yoga is super technique to release all suppressed emotions and to heal pain body, the body of pain. This is the term of Eckhart Tolle, person who achieved ultimate self-realization. Nirvikalpa Samadhi, I know you know this master. He looks like very shy, funny, ordinary man. And yeah, I will tell you next that it's not necessarily that person is sitting in white cloths and that he's a master. The master can look like a kid. All right, so yoga, retreats, India, some books, and spiritual knowledge. I was studying Advaita Vedanta. I watched a lot of satsangs. Before actual experience of Satori, initial awakening, when we recognize that, oh, reality is not real. You see illusion, you see matrix, or Maya, how it's called. You see that this is also a dream, but super realistic. And this is the search that might include initial awakening or not. And here, the benefit is that you are really growing as a personality. You are getting rid of some patterns, suffering. You feel something more, you have insights, you have more connection to your inner voice. You are stable, your life changes, you realize that you are somehow influencing on this reality, that there is synchronicity, materialization, and you can attract people, and all people on your way are only for seeing what is inside you. For someone, for women, it's often through men. So thank to men who were like very rough but teachers, like abusive relationships. So we are very carefully going, and it's super cool stage, I will say. I like it because it was the stage of healing and relief. Oh my God, I'm not trapped in my ego mind, in depression. I can breathe, I can see everything, what is after what, and so on. But here, the minus is that you can stuck in this stage without actual spiritual awakening if you won't be practicing, for instance, contemplation and constant focusing attention on what is happening right now. In this stage also appears spiritual monkey. People who are so spiritual, so overwhelmed with love, they share that I love everyone. You are my brother, you are my sis. And they're playing in the spiritual game, denying dark side, shadow side work, and they're not accepting themselves fully. They're wearing spiritual masks. I'm not judging. I had this period too. So I'm just describing what might happen on the way, benefits and minuses and risks. Also, there is a big risk to connect to some exact guru and worship him, visiting all retreats and devaluing your abilities, your real power. Kundalini energy is in everyone, in every tree, in bird, in animal, and in each person. You are the same as me, as we are super different with our goals on incarnation, but we all have this power and super abilities and so on. I will talk about this further. So don't stuck in spiritual game that I am so blissful. You know, sometimes I even received some suggestions to visit retreats or something like a master, but I don't like these communities where they are wearing only white and they're so... I feel that it's not totally true. And if I'm invited, I will be just myself. I can wear a t-shirt and shorts, and no one can understand who am I. They only can feel energy, and that's it. And also risky at this stage to accelerate the process of spiritual awakening because we are very impatient. The mind, the ego mind, wants to obtain. I want to be enlightened and I want to obtain faster. That's why they using plants. That's why ayahuasca ceremonies. At this stage, his psyche might be ready for expansion, and using mushrooms, microdosing, can unpack and show you like a guider that what is next. But it causes disbalance to the brain. As I told in my previous video, please watch it and share with those who are around you. And also it's not real, it's delusion again, and you face only disappointment and this kind of tension that when actual transcendental experience will happen, and you are like in this waiting mode all the time. And this is also like a trap. You need to release all past and future experiences and be present. This is all that is necessary for us, actually. Be present in the moment and realize that there is nothing so precious than the present moment and perception itself. Before thoughts, before judgments, before knowing who you are, as if I'm placed into this sofa without understanding who am I. Oh, some reality. Oh, somebody to love you. Yeah. And the next one is transitional state. My favorite. It's the fifth stage, which I call transitional state to ultimate self-realization, or 4D. 4D state happens only when you obtained at least initial awakening, samadhi. And then once you obtained, there is no way brain works like this. It only expands. But again, you're writing me, I had so beautiful expansion of my heart. I was crying out of any reasons. I said, okay, don't stuck in these experiences. Be present. Keep on practicing your attention in the moment. Contemplate. Go for a long walk. Do meditation without any thoughts. Go deeper into shunya, absolute silence. Be neutral. Be in neutral mind. Do not react on circumstances, people. Be aware what is going on, and more unpacking will happen. No way, I guarantee you, if you won't stuck, oh, I experienced samadhi when I was 20. And then what? Again in 3D, in the previous perception? It's kind of a waste of time. On my channel, we can go much faster because I believe the energies of the planet changed and some kind of acceleration happens. I feel it. So everyone will soon be awakening more and more. In parallel reality will be happening, unfortunately, some destructive events. It's like the cleansing of the whole planet. Do not read news because it also can dive you into this feeling of helplessness, powerlessness in front of global corporations, politics, and so on. Live your own life, your space, and you will be safe. People might be dying around you, even the closest one, but please keep on following your path, no matter what. Don't be afraid. You are safe if you are aware, if you have clean body, clean energy channels. And on my channel, I'm helping you to cleanse at all levels. Herbal detox. Here we go. Kundalini yoga. 100 free classes. Practice each day. Do morning sadhana. I will prepare in August for Yogi Bhajan birthday morning sadhana set for everyone because it's my birthday as well. I was born with a master on the same date and I want to honor him because he was, I don't know, it was gaslighting. Someone wanted to close Kundalini yoga schools to have this very bad reputation of Yogi Bhajan. Though I'm endlessly grateful for him to come into America in 60s and trying to awaken people who were drug addicts to substances, LSD and trips. You know, I'm doing the same as a teacher now, trying to explain, do not accelerate your spiritual awakening. Be patient. You cannot accelerate the process of a caterpillar who is crawling on the ground to become a butterfly. He needs to go to the cocoon, to the self-investigation, retreat, and then voila, and then fly. Flying to experience beautiful connection with your higher self, with your teachers, and you will really feel the voice someone hears. Someone just have knowledge as me, but this is a very stable sensation, which is out of any doubt. Transition to 5D is a very painful period because in parallel, you both have experiences like I'm in the moment, I'm in 4D. Everything is so bright, no thoughts. I'm free out of my patterns, out of my mental mad dog inside me who is always judging, have dual perception, this is good, this is bad, who experience real pain. But you are aware of these programs, you see them, but they are biting you. It's harmful. You can stuck and go, for instance, eat something and then fall asleep and then you null your brain and again, once again, go into some kind of long walk. It's a very cool technique. It's very hard to assemble your attention in the moment when you have worries, doubts, anxiety. So these are like emotional swings, like little bit bipolar disorder tendencies, but it's not. Because bipolar disorder is a complete 3D, when person didn't have any Sattva experiences, no initial awakening, no feeling of actual how reality looks like. He has some kind of derealization or depersonalization, which also Salamat Sarsikenov explains now to psychologists that sometimes derealization is like protective mechanism of psyche not to suffer, not to face pain. But at the same time, it can be one step towards initial awakening. When you are really don't perceive yourself as a body, you feel that the body inside you with all objects and all what you see. You are the surface of the film. You are not the projector, but you are the space on which the whole film with character unfolds. And this is a real concrete experience. In transitional stage, you also might face, due to the high frequencies of your vibrations, you can face some transformations of the body, and that your habits, food cravings will go away, up to that the food, as in my case, will fall off and you will consider it very heavy, and it will blur your mind and will be like acceleration to the 3D. If you eat something, you feel bad. You feel again in mental programs. If you are not eating, you are blissful and high all the time. When I faced this, I helped my body with herbal cleansing, and I accepted this idea because I was fond of these topics of fastings and life without food, even 10 years ago. And through these 10 years, I know everything about fasting and breatharianism, life with malnutrition, and so on. I know that the food is only the consequence of emotions. But when you are shifting to 5D, you are not living out of emotions anymore. You are living out of the moment itself with the perception, sensual perception of reality. And if you have emotions and roll back to mental perception 3D, you will be eating. Maximum you can fast. Fasting is also a very cool tool I forgot mentioning on the 4th stage of practicing. Fasting for healing the body, to help the body cleanse out of programs which were in us due to consumption of food, because food is social programming, and it's the inevitable part of 3D. Everything is around food. All work, all labor, we are working for food. We are spending money for buying products, and then we are spending money to visiting doctors. And this is how Matrix works. I'm not fighting against it. It's also part of the game. But I've chosen another path. Maybe you also gradually will understand, connect with yourself, and sincerely say that I don't want to eat meat, for instance, and you give up meat in one day and don't feel any craving. Parasites with high vibrations might go away on their own, but you can help with herbal cleansing. It will restore all your systems, digestive organs. It will heal you from inside. Herbs are ancient curement of any diseases. You can purchase my program or investigate on your own if you are interested and you want to waste time for collecting herbs and experiment. So yeah, it's up to you. Here we can go without food, and also what we face bursts of energy during experiencing life in the moment. So actually we cannot get sleep. We are on with ourselves 24 hours. We need to do something. And I was, by habit, trying to fall asleep. To cope with this energy, we need to stabilize and learn not to have these up and downs, and gradually be always in the blissful state of perception that I'm not the body. And when the capacity of all transcendental experiences, multiple samadhi experiences, sometimes they can last for days, you are in this state, when this capacity will prevail and 3D programs, mental reactions, emotions will be less, then you shift to 5D, to ultimate self-realization, or how it's called, nirvikalpa samadhi. But before I say about nirvikalpa, I will tell you about minuses and pluses. Like a conclusion, pluses is when you receive some transcendental experiences, some signs, you can begin channeling or talking angel language, or connect yourself with Akashic records. You are guiding people who are following you. You make tarot readings or something, some psychic readings. I know that I have Reiki healers, and you guys are in 4D. You are awakened, you captured this vibe, and you understand what is going on. You see matrix, you see how reality works, that it only responds to what is inside. You don't blame anyone, any circumstances anymore. You know that everything is within you, and you only create by projecting. And at this stage, the minus is that I know that I'm creating reality, but some of my patterns are so rough, are so hard to disappear, that I need to play these games in reality again and again, some very painful events. But you know what? Even if you face any pain, you are aware. And this is the difference. If 3D person suffers sincerely, you cannot suffer sincerely anymore, because you know for what it happens and why. And minuses here is the risk of going crazy. I will tell you right away, don't be afraid, it won't happen to you. But there is a risk. If psyche is not ready for any experiences, person was 3D and spontaneously something happened, some traumatic event, death of a relative, and he lost his point of assembly and lost even his thoughts because suffering was huge, and he sitting on the bench and watching the space and says, oh my God, I'm not me, who am I, what happens? And he cannot cope with this experience. And then if he goes to incorrect person, to psychologist, he will be led to psychiatrist, and he will be going to hospital. So if you know that someone has these experiences and could not understand what's going on, give my contacts. I may help. Salamat Sarsikenov, the master neurophysiologist, he is working with such people. And he is visiting hospitals, explaining them that don't use neuroleptics, which cause side effects and also degradation to our brain, because these are chemicals anyways, like antidepressants. Leave a person alone, pure, and I can talk to such person, and he will realize that this is hallucinations, this is illusion, and he's stuck in illusion, and he can move further and even be cured of schizophrenia. This is very important. So the risk really exists for those who are not aware and has not enough information. In my channel, I want to expand this information, so share these videos with everyone. It's very material, logical. I think even if 3D person watches this video, he will kind of say, there is a logic, it makes sense. And then all that he needs to do only to practice. And he will obtain all this experience actually, so there will be no questions. And the ultimate realization, and this is the 6th stage, is nirvikalpa samadhi, when the state doesn't disappear anymore. There is a gradation. Sometimes we are expanded much more. We can sit in meditation for hours, just be present and just in this total bliss. But if there are another goals in society, then a person becomes master, given retreats, satsangs. And also this is not necessarily. And at this stage, even at the very beginning, you notice that the space unfolded and your perception that the body is in me, I'm the whole space. And this blissful state when the thoughts are observed still, but they are like clouds on the sky passing by. They are not annoying, they are not catching you. You are not stuck in depression, apathy, or anhedonia states when you don't know what to do, when you don't have a sense of doing something. It will go away absolutely. You will be free. And in this state, it depends on your tasks for incarnation. You can live ordinary life. For instance, Master Robert Adams. Robert Adams, he has brilliant satsangs on YouTube. So you can walk and listen to satsangs by Robert Adams. And he's American, so it will be more closer to our experience, because sometimes we are not understanding such masters as Ramana Maharshi, Nisargadatta Maharaj, and so on. We are very far from the Eastern culture, Indian culture, though it's beautiful, it's ancient, and it's about truth. And yeah, it will be easier for modern person to listen to Eckhart Tolle or Robert Adams more likely. At this stage, you have very small ego. I want to put special attention on this, so nothing can annoy you. You can stand any aggression even. You are reacting or joking. People are like attacking you and you see like, oh, I see you. And what's next? Nothing can cause resentment in you or aggression. Maybe the personality will react how it's required to react. Understand me correctly, I can also be very mean and rude. May I? Yes, in the moment, because a person cannot understand otherwise. I see at what level of spiritual awakening and self-awareness he is. And I can be very strict and aggressive even, but it's not out of my real aggression as Melissa, but out of love, out of understanding that at this concrete moment of time, person won't understand otherwise. That's why I need to say what I'm saying. I'm trying to work with the clients like a kind teacher and inspire more, because I don't like criticism. I don't like it. I feel that only love can raise the person higher, the kind attitude and understanding, compassion, empathy. But sometimes we need to shake someone and wake up. Return back to what happens. Return your awareness. Don't blame some people around you. Look inside you. Process what you have. Look inside. It's very hard to admit, it's painful, but if you once admit, you will feel so big relief. I guarantee you, I was in these stages. Yeah, you can look like a normal person. I want to put some special emphasis. When someone writes me, oh, yogis do not do this. Oh, spiritual person will not use cosmetics, will be only in white cloths. But you remember about spiritual masks and spiritual monkey? This is the stage 4 practicing. And it's the part of the way, but it's not necessarily. You can see even immortal person passing you on the street and you will never understand how old is he. And yeah, you can be like normal body, normal person, not like with its body shape, hair, makeup, but you are talking to master, it may happen. And here I want to say what can also be unpacked, optionally, not necessarily. This is full life without food, breatharianism. The body will lead you, so you won't be hesitating on this way. And also some abilities, levitation, telekinesis, teleportation, because when the consciousness is expanded, when you observe reality as a dream, you understand that what you had before is only the limits of your mind perception. You can reverse your age, make mental surgery. So it's a very fascinating game. I will also say that this is anyways game again, but you are playing with whole connection to your inner self. You can clearly listen to voice of ascended teacher, or you can just have downloads of knowledge. It's very early to speak about this stage now. I know that you want to manifest like Sati Sai Baba, to materialize gold out of nothing, or like Mahavatar Babaji, who is immortal and he sometimes appears on this plane and goes out of the cave in the body of young, beautiful Indian boy, fellow, I would say. If there was no spiritual awakening, it's too early, though you can manifest even out of 3D. If you know how, watch my video about manifestations. Though in this video, I'm telling that from big ego, big desire, you cannot achieve, cannot manifest. Only if you like struggle with reality. 3D is complete suffering and struggle. I will repeat again. This is like completely different perception of reality. And these things are existing. People who are not eating for long term. I know many people of this kind. In Russia, we have the whole community of preference. They call themselves as autonomous people, like they are in autonomy. Autonomy when you don't need no food, no sleep, no water even. So they are controlling all reality and rule the world absolutely like a creator. And they have abilities, they're walking through walls and so on. But they're only hinting. They will never share this on YouTube. You should understand that someone even blocked sometimes, and people from government can knock your door like Agent Smith in Matrix. Once a person is awakened, he also can face the risk to be identified by the system, so pretend that you're sleeping. Be a normal person. Follow all rules of the system. Pay your taxes. Live normal life. But at the same time, you will have your little secret. And it's not necessary even to share with everyone, even your relatives. Only if you follow my path as the spiritual teacher, then of course cannot do otherwise. You know what? Interesting, after enlightenment, you are totally connected to yourself. And you cannot stand but doing things, and you really enjoy them. I was denying my spiritual path. I was saying I will shift to preferentialism. I will never share this. Because people are not understanding. I don't want this aggression. I don't want these attacks or criticizing. Oh, you are too skinny, or are you too fat? These judgmental things. But then I realized that I will be sharing, but only for those who are ready, because I believe that the society, also the system is changing, and there will be so many awakened people all around the world that the matrix will have to have some implementation of new lifestyle, as raw veganism was weird and vegans are attacked still. But then it will be evolution of planet. Also, I have another vision at the same time, that the planet has at the same time all levels of people, because this is school. Someone in the first class, someone is at the university. We are graduating from the university right now, because consciousness wants to experience all levels of perception, and even to be in sleepy state all the life of the body of avatar. So probably this never happened to the earth, and history will go in the spiral dynamics, like usually happen: wars, pandemics, and then some cataclysm. God forbid, I wish it never happens in our lives and lives of our children, and never ever. But it may happen, and then again, total nulling of all experiences and the game from the scratch, as if this game is like the end, and then again restart the game from the scratch and development of persons. We in the body, in physical body, can be endlessly here with ultimate self-realization, as long as we want to have this game and play in this reality, until we decide to leave this plane. It's decision of the soul, and such person is not afraid of death, because he realizes that death doesn't exist. He can either go with the body to another densities, or leave the body here and go as ascended teacher, and then from the subtle plane he can be guiding these ignorant people in 3D out of there with science, intuition, which we all hear since childhood. We cannot deny this. We are guided. You feel it if you are sensitive. So trust this call, trust this voice. It leads you, and it can help you to minimize mistakes and suffering in your life. It's very important to connect to your intuition, at least even if you had no transcendental samadhi experiences yet. This path is long and 5D. I'm only at the beginning, and now I switch to my history, my biography, how it was happening, to make you understand that you are the same as me, so you can do everything as me in very short term. I shared with you that I was depressed since childhood. I received my major trauma in the first class of school. In my family, I was very open, very funny. I was dancing, singing, expressing myself freely, and gaining unconditional love from my parents, thanks to my mother and father. But then society put the programs on me, and in childhood, I was connected to teacher. I had not enough knowledge, but I was making tarot reading since I'm 8. I was summoning spirits and channeling information. I was absolutely open like a kid and was trusting more. And then the trust to myself was killed by programming of society and some circumstances, and that everyone was repeating, it's not existing, you are flying in the skies, come back to reality. And I became more logical, which is also very cool because my logical mind and work as logistics specialist even helped me on my way. Though I never give up search since childhood. I was fond of reincarnation themes. I studied a lot about Michael Newton, his books about life between lives, and many things. I was feeling that this is true, as well as I was feeling that I don't want to eat since childhood, but I had to eat. I was telling you that I was eating porridge only with jam because it's sweet and because I wanted to see what is on the bottom of a plate, which flower is drawn. So it wasn't me since childhood, and at last I received to myself as I was perceiving myself in very childhood. This is conclusion. This is like the major conclusion of my ultimate realization stage. And I feel confident now that I will never come back to the normal perception, luckily. But if some other games need to be cleansed in the form of some actual experience, traumas, bad events, I'm ready, I'm not afraid. So currently about a month, I'm in stable, blissful state, and it doesn't go even after sleep. Sleep decreased a lot, and I'm balancing myself sometimes because a bunch of energy which unpacked is very hard to stand, believe me. You are overwhelmed like under cocaine sometimes, but it's not euphoria, it's like the bursts of energy and vibrations inside you that you don't know what to do with this. And this is maybe disadvantage of 5D, but at the same time, I've never been so energized. All my life, I was searching how to cure myself out of apathy, low hemoglobin, and issues with health. But I was following my even mother, who was telling me you need to eat meat for a high level of hemoglobin. You cannot live without protein, animal protein. I'm living without it for 10 years now. No, there was a fish. A fish, but very rarely. Meat, animal meat, I'm not eating for 10 years. And I was struggling with depression of this state, and my mind was telling me all the time, like the pattern that I knew that I'm talented since childhood. I had experience as a dancer, and then my health cracked out of nutrition, I'm sure, and I gained dystrophia of second stage. And when I was 14, I had goals to become a worldwide famous champion of sport dancing. I was living on the dance floor, and it was my goal. And then all of a sudden I received this disease, and all my childhood dreams were broken in one day. I was eating a lot and getting only thinner because my body was not capable, my structures since childhood were not capable to digest a bunch of processed food and heavy food. I was feeling this, but I could not explain to my mother because they are all right how they eating. Or maybe they are suffering out of excessive weight and diseases, but they perceive this as a normal. But me in childhood, I was not perceiving that to get sick, this is normal. I don't have to be weak. I'm so energized sometimes. Why I need to spend days in hospital and taking pills. And also when I was a very little girl, I saw aged person like grandmother, and I also captured without any knowledge that this is not correct, that actually aging is also mental program and we can do otherwise. I knew this knowledge. That's why I'm so fascinated by the topics of immortality and rejuvenation, and to prolong at least your lifetime as more as you want in this reality. To choose your path, to have some concrete goals for your incarnation, And step by step, without realizing that there is a time scale, you can be free. When we are in 3D, we believe in time. When we are in expansion, we believe that we are endless, because we are born each new moment of time. If you know what I mean, if you don't perceive, you don't have short memory. As I told you, as well as psychotropic drugs, in the state of samadhi, we hack the short memory and we have only present moment, 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 moment. So in this moment, 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 you can be endless, live for 200 years and so on. But if we are stuck in future and achieving goals, and we create an illusion in the head that, oh, when I will go to pension, I will be doing this. If we're stuck in the future or past, we are at the 3D time scale. It's up to you. This is only my experience. I'm not imposing, I'm sharing. Yeah, and university age was full of fun. I was free of sports. I gave up my dream, and in parallel with dancing, I was singing, and I had another dreams about singing, but I have a lot of self-inferiorities, as I was thinking, imperfections. I was like perfectionist, good girl mask, trying to be ideal and not allowing myself to express myself, like I'm not enough all the time. I was living with this feeling in my 20s. And it led me to depression, because it's not self-love. If you're not allowing yourself to fulfill your desires, your true desires, if you squeeze yourself, you will be suffering, and it will make you disabled. Depression is when we are playing some artificial masks, personality, which causes suffering, and the body turns off all systems to go to deep rest, as Jim Carrey was telling. Jim Carrey is an enlightened actor. I love him so much. And he's so funny as me. I would love to play in some film, because I think I can play any character, because you have your identity still, but not Lisa, not like Lisa immigrated to America and want to do this. I don't have this. I don't have expectations, but like my desire, why not? I would be. If it never happened, okay. If it happens, I will be glad. Maybe I will be a cool actress. We are all actors in this game. You need to understand this. And not take this life too seriously, and know that problems are called problems only with our lack of belief in the abilities of ourselves, that we are powerful. We really can affect reality if we are centered, if we assembled. Yeah, I was talking about my depression a lot, that before Kundalini, I was taking antidepressants for a month, feeling myself as a vegetable. I can assume that the antidepressants which were prescribed were not proper for me. I could change them, use others, but these are crutches. I don't want to live on pills all my life if I'm predisposed to some mental disorder. I chose intuitively. It was the call of my teacher. Kundalini yoga. And when I discovered that do not take antidepressants together with Kundalini yoga, my logical mind told me, why? Because maybe antidepressants cause some chemical imbalance, and Kundalini yoga improves the setting of the brain and all glands. That's why if you in parallel will take antidepressants, neuroleptics or whatever, and Kundalini yoga, it will be like double effect, and it can cause some distortion. So if you are on antidepressants right now, you can gradually start doing Kundalini yoga and get rid of antidepressants. Yeah, I abruptly threw all my antidepressants in at the beginning of 2019. And then I was inspired to share my knowledge, started my channel out of topic of depression, psychology, neurotic patterns. I was fond of psychology, and at the beginning of my channel, if you watch videos, they are very practical. I even was talking about samadhi and ultimate self-realization with no idea what it is actually. But logically I understood, and this is super important, because you will be there once you accept it like a theory, and then you will have actual experience, and after actual experiences you won't have a question, you won't perceive it as a hallucination. You won't be doubtful. You will see that this is who you really are, that you are the pure perception, boundless consciousness, who perceives reality through the body as a tool, like a projector. We use the avatar to play in game, and the consciousness is like the soul. And I won't be describing this as like cannot be obtained by the mind, but at the same time, like in the general, it happens like this, that consciousness plays in different forms, and you are also consciousness. You are the part of God, the Son of God, like Jesus was telling. I won't be discussing any topic of religion, because I think religion is also 3D. And this institution is really giving hope to many people. If they are not imposing aggressively their religion to others, then it really can give them faith, and they have some relief out of visiting church. I love churches. It's beautiful choir, singing, and organ music. I love them. I love to watch pictures of saints. It's beautiful masterpieces. I perceive it as like beautiful masterpiece, and I honor Jesus as an enlightened person, enlightened master, who was not understood, because the savages, the I would say readiness of the society was very low. It was like savage level, and they killed him because they couldn't understand the truth that he was trying to convey. Luckily, in our times, there is Jesus everywhere. Every person can be in the consciousness of Jesus and be the same. It's the ultimate self-realization. And it's not like, I'm super high, I'm cool. No, it's basic state. It's a basic state when the moral things which are described in the Bible are so understood that you, after enlightenment, you cannot lie, you cannot steal, you cannot kill, you cannot cheat or something, because it's installed in you. You perceive yourself as everyone around you, and you don't want to hurt yourself. So religion, I respect all institutions and people who are religious, and if it helps them, if they pray, the prayer is also very good. They pray before taking food, and the energy we give to food is also healing. And also when we pray or sing a mantra, like Kundalini yoga, we get rid of this race of thoughts inside. This is the main purpose, function of any prayer or mantra. And also they have the codes in the sound, like the ancient codes of high vibration, which are installing into our energy structures while we're singing mantra. So don't skip Adi mantra at the beginning of the class. It's like vibration itself when we resonate. It also stimulates our pineal and pituitary glands. Yeah, it's very simple, right? Now you understand what happens, and that this is not complicated. It's so easy. And after depression, I got rid, and I became fanatic of Kundalini yoga. I had such a big quantum leap in my energy levels. I became creative and as energized as I was considering that level of energy as never before, because I left in apathy. No energy, hardly working, sleeping 10 hours a day, 9 hours a day. Always had some flu or diseases. I was getting sick, and I was trying to research food, nutrition to help myself. And this is a beautiful path. In parallel, I was taught by men. My major growth happened through relationships. Because before enlightenment, the relationships are karmic. Person and person, then together, they always reflecting what is inside, and it's like the fight which make you grow even if you break up. So don't regret any relationships. It's a very precious experience. It's beautiful. And after my 3 years ago, I won't be like telling when concretely, 3 years ago I might guess, I had relationships with sociopath who used me in any way as he could. I gave him money, and he used this money to buy some bouquet of roses to another girl, and he made her proposal on my money. Yeah, you know, it's painful for a woman. It's like total devaluation, but who devalued whom? I was devaluing myself, not believing in me in some way, though I was even a practitioner of Kundalini yoga, and I was full of love, and yeah, but I had no initial awakening, no experiences at that moment, no. Quarantines, went on quarantine about 4 years ago or some. And after that I was done. I said, no, I don't want a drama. I made decision, the pure intention that no way I want to be happy. This is the most important theme, to make this decision within you. I choose another reality for myself. You know information, you are creating your reality. So I take responsibility for all my reality, and I don't want to suffer. So after breakage with him, I started training myself as crazy in the moment. I was lying on my bed, watching my palms for hours, listening to satsangs daily for 10 hours a day, not less. And within 3 months of constant practice of attention in the moment, I woke up. It happened at the cashier at the grocery store, and it was for 30 seconds to Mars. I was staring at cashier like, what the hell is going on here? It's not real. And I was so shocked, like, I'm the whole space, sounds I intensified, and bright, colorful picture. Wow, and this window opened to me. But as I had microdosing 5 years ago, I captured, this is the same as microdosing, wow. And my logic, again, I returned back to my 3D state after that. I was keep on watching satsangs and practice. And since then, there were expansion, very gradual, and food was falling off, all alcohol fell off. It was this experience. And all dirt which remained in me, in my subconsciousness, was popped up at the surface. I had to face fears. I had to expand my also social expression, not to be afraid, not to be judged, not to be a victim. Many things. I was working with my even clients, my first clients on Kundalini marathons, and I was helping myself, to be honest, because all my clients are me. You are me. I can help you because I'm like in different level, stage right now, but again, you can complete the puzzle in your head and move much faster. If you talk to me, I will personally see what you have and look from the outside. Maybe it will be not so pleasant. Sorry for this in advance. But I saw all my programs. And when I was... I got corona. I filmed lymphatic system kriya on the field when I had corona, actually. It happened 3 years ago, and because I knew about self-healing by the present moment and the state itself, I even cured corona very fast. I made fasting, and I remembered about fasting, dry fasting, and then I discovered the bunch of information about immortality, about life without food, that it's possible. So the knowledge comes when we are ready. This is for sure. If we're not ready, we have no interest even to read or learn about this. Information exists in Akashic records and in our reality, in all sources. If you want to find something, you will definitely find. If you are convinced that life without food is impossible, you will find improvements of the system of matrix, which will explain you why it's not possible. And if you don't believe and even admit that it might be truth, then you are programmed and it's not your way, whatever. Doesn't matter. So since then, I started doing sleep deprivations with my balanced psyche. I was healthy in psyche. After that last dude, I was balanced and I was practicing life in the moment, and these states were more stable And then I experienced my first 40-hour-long samadhi. I filmed in the state of my first deep samadhi my talks about lymphatic system, where I have braids, sitting in the yellow chair and like staring at camera. So the body was talking on its own. When the state was gone, I had no comments of the mind at all. You should understand that I was like moving, my body was moving, there was no control. But actually everything was happening as it should happen in flow. Oh, my legs, sorry. And I was convinced that after I filmed these talks, that I would be talking mass. That I was reading the script on the screen. It was a professional studio of my friend in St. Petersburg. I was admiring architecture in St. Petersburg like crazy. I never saw my city with these eyes. Like in trip, wow, cathedral, St. Isaac Cathedral, like museum. St. Petersburg is a super beautiful city. I love my hometown. I miss it so much, but it's too cold for me. I'm a hot girl. I should be living in hot climate. I was feeling that I should live in America since childhood. As I told you, my teacher was telling me actually when I was 5 that I will be living in America. I had no even hesitations that one day it happens. So don't rush things. All your dreams will come true if you feel this response. Just release. You know where you're going, and let the God consciousness lead you, giving you events and people, and it will be a beautiful puzzle on your way. You will be surprised with the synchronicity. And my life after initial spiritual awakening, the more deeper before samadhi 40 hours, I had one more experience which was significant. I would say it was lasting 5 minutes or some. I was sitting in cafe with my friend. I was drinking wine. Kundalini practitioners shouldn't be drinking wine. It's written in the, when you receive a degree of Kundalini teacher, there is written no alcohol. But I was drinking. That's why allow yourself, if you still love meat or red wine for pleasure, enjoy, please. But at the same time, enjoy in the moment. Each sip, each like taste, be here, not in the thoughts, but feel the sensations. And I was sitting, he was saying, oh, Lisa, so many problems. We have to purchase some new equipment. It's so expensive. I need to organize logistics from Finland. And all in a sudden, I see him. Las Vegas trip, you know, this film with Johnny Depp. I see that he's artificial and he's playing. He's like an actor who is pretending to believe in his problems, suffering, and I began to laugh. I was not drunk, it was like a little glass of wine. And I started, Vita, everything is all right. I don't even remember what it was because there was a total presence. No, I was laughing. Laugh without reason. It's not that you're going mad. It's sometimes also the spiritual awakening sign that you feel, oh, it's not real. Is it for real? Really, you're suffering? How you can suffer? We're just in the beautiful game. Look around you, see colors, see shapes, enjoy your food. You are here talking to me. You're not on your studio. You see that useless attachment to future or past when you are in ultimate realization. I can hear my thoughts even sometimes about the last traumatizing events that brought me to ultimate self-realization still. They're like, like a whisper of a ghost. Somewhere on the background, like, I remember this motherfucker. Who he is, he's me. He just helped me to accelerate because I had bold intention to be stable in 5D. I was telling you throughout this year. During my immigration, I was fearless, going like a tank with my bags. And Lisa, they will kill you. You are Russian. Tell them that you are half Ukrainian. They will support you. Thank you for support during my immigration. Though I was laughing because for me, life was already a game. I was trusting. Sometimes there was a lack of money, to be honest, and there is a moment when we are facing actual material problems, and we losing our faith. We losing our unconditional trust to yourself, to your high spirit, that no matter what will be happen, I will survive, I will figure out, this responsibility goes away. And it's very risky to go into victim. Victim is like, it has no force. In victim state is useless. You will be only suffering, lying on your bed, or maybe get depressed. And then it will be harder to push you up. It's better to use aggression, the energy of aggression, to get rid of depression. Like, no, I'm controlling everything. I don't care. If you have this energy, it's much better than you will stuck in apathy and low vibes of desperation. It's very close to death. So be careful. I was confident, I trust, and I still trust. I still live moment by moment with no expectations. I know my goals, my desires, but at the same time, I'm not in the future. I'm enjoying moment and the path, no matter how much money I have. I want abundance, and denial of money is also distortion, because if the soul is incarnated in material world, it needs abundance and be free to fulfill all she wants. So money attraction is another topic, but I'm trusting that everything will be all right. I'm doing my work. I have a contract with God, if you want. I have no ego over this, like pride that, I'm a master. I'm you, Messiah. Like, love me. No, these times are gone. Now everyone can enlighten easily. I believe so. Maybe I will create course from ignorance to enlightenment. This is in my plans. Maybe it never happened, and YouTube channel will be enough, just expanding. Whatever. I allow any circumstances to help me on the way. I have my goals, mission, and some artistic mission as well. Little bit postponed because I'm doing what I love in the moment, and sometimes I'm singing, training, but currently I'm more dedicated to work with you guys, because a lot of newcomers on channel and people who really want to awaken. And the desire of the mind, desire to awaken, is a very cool impulse. Of course, at some moment you have to get rid of considering yourself even personality. And you should get rid of all visions of who you are, because you are before visions, assessments, before any thoughts. You should stay neutral in pure perception. But at some stage, when the ego, even the mind, wants to enlighten, this is cool. So we don't have to dissolve and destroy ego and to struggle with ego, because again, who is fighting whom inside? You will feel that your mind works differently, and you see very like logical chains more. You will see that many things are obvious for you now. So to practice attention, which helped me a lot, I suggest you. It's really helpful. So I was happy before my immigration. I was trusting, and I was in 4D all year round in America, struggling with some obstacles, but not struggling, but struggling with my states, I would say, because I was shifting to 3D states of victim, not trusting, not believing. And at the same time, I was using all techniques to keep me in 5D perception. I walk a lot, as I was eating once a day, and then I shifted to only avocado, corn mostly. It was my body needs. Also was doing herbal cleansing, a lot of Kundalini yoga, bicycling, a lot of sports. Nature here is very beautiful. It's completely different when you are living in the big cities. I won't say it's harder to enlighten living in big city. No, I think it depends on your readiness, your training. Because at this moment, the capacity of time which I spent in 5D prevailed above 3D perception, and that's why I'm constantly high, constantly in the stable, blissful state. And I can live like this all my life, but I have a vision that it will be expanded more. So I will be sharing more with you. Don't be surprised if one day Yeah, that I'm shifting to breatharianism is obvious. My body cannot cope with food anymore because of high vibrations. And I accept this way, but I'm allowing myself to stabilize with food. I can eat once every day. Once in 2 days is avocado, corn, very poor monk diet. But I'm enough with this. My taste receptors are nourished with this. I don't have sugar. I don't like sugar. It makes me feel weak or sleepy. Though carrot juice also was helping me. I spent 20 days on liquids right after, I believe so, my last karmic lesson. Through man, again. I'm very grateful for this experience. I was also teaching him to realize something, but this is his responsibility whether he realized something or not out of communication with me, if he's ready. You won't believe what happened when I started to discuss my my past relationships. The camera dropped. So my teacher, sorry, tells you not to uncover this topic. I should remain top secret in some of my personal life. Sure. But the main logic is understandable. We are growing through people around us, people, yeah, they're annoying sometimes, we hate them, but whom we are hating? The war is inside. If we see the war outside, it's inside. What is within is outside. What is up, below. This is Hermetism knowledge of the laws of universe. I shot satsang with the laws of universe. So if you are on my channel, namaste, you're welcome. You are in my hands. I will explain what happens to you. I'm very confident in my knowledge, in my experience now. Apply for 40 days marathon. Join membership. Open endless access to membership. Practice, practice, practice each day. You will see how your reality, your body will change, your mood will change. You will be super happy, inspired, and you will gain energy to start your own business, to develop in the way you want to develop. Please don't use drugs. Take care of your body. Be very aware what is going on. If you allow yourself some nasty things, it's also okay. You know, some masters, even like the image of master. Nisargadatta Maharaja was smoking all his life. He didn't care about his body. He was the pure perception consciousness. He didn't care. He knew that he is not attached to the body and don't want to live long. For instance, he died of lungs cancer. Ramana Maharshi was sitting only in pants in his ashram, not moving even, and his body also died very soon out of cancer. I have respect to great masters and the golden chain of teachers who were practicing before us, including the major teacher Yogi Bhajan. So, I love you so much. And write me on email. All information always in description of video. All links to my courses. Tap link with my prices, my contacts. Please write me on Telegram, WhatsApp. But not hello, Lisa. I won't reply. Hello, Lisa. I have this question or I need consultation, and only then I reply. So stay true and kind. The rest things, never mind. See you. Bye.